The footy's on Triple M.
Triple M rocks Magic Round.
Yes, it's brilliant. It's the best. It is the annual footy carnival. It is Magic Round, Suncorp Stadium, beautiful Brisbane. My name's Tony Squires, Nathan Hindmarsh, Wade Graham and Brent Read join me. Gentlemen, paint the picture. Just how good is Brisbane as we speak?
Outstanding, beautiful. It's a little bit cloudy, a little bit overcast, but the weather's nice. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
There's people everywhere in the streets, jerseys everywhere. It's a great weekend up here.
Yeah, the energy in the city, you can feel it as soon as you get off the plane at the airport and you come in. There's so many different jerseys, even like club jerseys, but retro jerseys.
Yeah.
Just everyone's time to show off what they have and get it out of the cupboard and come and celebrate your team. There's a few different people with different energy levels this far in, whether they flew in on Thursday or Friday or their Saturday morning to join the late part of the weekend. There's a lot of different levels of energy out there, Tone, but once the footy starts, it'll even it back out.
Let's just dig a bit deeper on that then, Wado. In terms of energy levels in the room, who did arrive earliest?
I was here on Thursday, Tony, so I probably had the most excuse to be fatigued, but
Wednesday, I
surprised
got here
me.
Wednesday.
Oh, you got here Wednesday.
Wednesday,
There you
yeah,
go.
yeah.
Well, no wonder you got no energy.
Yeah, I'm struggling.
I flew in today, so I'm
Fresh.
I'm jumping out of my skin. I'm fresh. I'm ready to go. I can't wait. Just beautiful rugby league on. I'm not going to say a beautiful stadium, but it's Queensland, so we'll make do. Make do.
Well, our resident Queenslander there, Reedy, you must be proud as punch.
Oh, we've turned it on again, Tone. That's what we do. That's what we do. That's the way this is the home of rugby league, Tone.
Mm-hmm.
So
What? How can you have the home of rugby league when you don't even host a grand final?
Okay. Well, we did a few.
We
years
have
ago.
hosted one.
We did
Oh
a
yeah,
few
but
years ago.
look, during COVID.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, it's been great, Tone. It's been fantastic, and you wouldn't expect any less. I mean, it's always a great event this weekend, the lead up to it, and then the games. I thought the games were pretty good last night. Roosters looked really good. Sharks, Nico, I thought Nico was great, and thankfully the bunker had minimal influence on those two
Well,
games, Tone.
did it? We're going to
Minimal.
dig deeper into that.
I'm not saying none, I'm saying minimal.
Minimal indeed. Those results, if you're not across them just yet, the Sharks, of course, 28, beat the Eels 18. It was the State of Origin kicked off, of course, New South Wales 32, Queensland 12. Which was a sensation. We're going to speak with Olivia Koenig actually a little bit later on. And we'll get to those bunkers. Just before then, the Suncorp Stadium surface, there was a bit of change going on, Reedy. How has it held up over those first three games?
It's been pretty good, actually, Tony. They were always pretty confident because they've done this before, and they replaced about 50% of the surface, generally down the middle of the field, but there hasn't been a lot of rain. That's the good thing. There was a tiny bit of rain yesterday. I think there's a little bit predicted over the weekend, but the surface held up really well, I thought, given they only laid it. They finished laying it on Thursday morning, I think, and the game got played Thursday night. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think you're still laying turf on the day of a game.
Yeah,
but
amazing.
You wouldn't know
Well,
it.
they've done well. Hindy's our resident.
Grassland, yeah.
Expert.
Well, it was never in doubt. With these sports turfs these days, the giant rolls, the ground staff are amazing, but just the technology and the way they do things now is, look, it's just going in leaps and bounds. And before you know it, guys, we could be, I don't know. It's endless.
Tone. You know when
Hydroponics, you name it, anything will be growing grass anywhere.
You know when you talk to a person and you finally get onto a subject that they really love, and it's a part of them, and that they have that glow and that smile on their face when they start talking about that particular thing that they like so much. Like for me, it's probably golf and footy, but for Hindy, I've never seen a smile and a glow come on someone's face so much when talking about grass and turf. And it's a real passion of yours, isn't it, Hindy?
You know what? It is. And this takes me back to when I was knee-high to a grasshopper, where, you know what I did to my mum's yard, because we grew up on a farm? I actually sprayed her whole garden, like grass area, with Roundup, rotary hoed everything up, and I put in little mounds and hills and regrew it all. And I love mowing lawns and all that sort of stuff. So I've got a bit of a green thumb, but that's where it all started from.
What do you mean you put in mounds and hills?
Like little hills, like little humps and stuff, like more like a golf course.
Like a golf fairway.
Yeah, yeah. She wasn't overly impressed, but it took me a good 24 months to get it all completed. I was only a young fella, but I got there and it came up all right.
Speaking of golf, because I remember, again, you're a bit of a green thumb. We all know that I love golf. And you sat here, it must have been a week ago or 2 weeks ago, you were into me about why I like golf. Other people like golf. I don't quite understand it. But you just let slip before. You have a fitting for golf clubs down at Ping. Paul Rosa and the guys in Tarrant Point, they'll look after you. But where is this golf all come from all of a sudden?
Well, it came from... If you can't beat them, join them. And wherever I seem to go at the moment, people are playing golf. People my age are playing golf. And I'm thinking to myself, where do they find time to go and have a hit of 18 holes? Like, surely, how long does 18 holes take?
Oh, about four and a bit hours.
Where do you find that time? Between dropping kids off and picking kids up in my work schedule, I don't have time to play golf.
Well, how are you going to create the time now that you're getting golf clubs?
I don't know. I've given in. I'm going to try and give myself a Friday. I think everyone talks about Fridays as a golf day. So
You could play 9 holes, Hindy. It's only a couple of hours.
there you go. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, you can play 9 holes.
Okay, can you play 3 holes?
If you want to, yeah.
Right.
Depends how you're playing. You might want to walk off after 3
So
anyway.
I thought, and of course, in at Fox too, they all play golf. Like Fletcher's
big.
keen for golf, and everywhere I go, someone is playing golf. My mates, Nate Kalis is a mad golf freak, and he rings me, "You want to come play golf?" I said, "Well, no, some of us got work to do." So I've decided, you know what, I'm going to bite the bullet, and I'm getting fitted for a set of sticks on Tuesday.
Are you? And is this a cha-ching kind of situation? Do you know?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I just rang up and said, "Can I get fitted for some sticks?" And they said, "Yeah." So the guys out there,
It's Ping. It's in Tarrant Point. It's a fantastic factory. I actually got a set of golf sticks.
Oh my God!
Is Ping
from
good?
there.
Is Ping good, baby?
They are good. They're good.
No, no,
Tony. But I
Did you get us a
actually,
set?
I actually got fitted the other day for a new set from TaylorMade. My brother-in-law is.
But they're no Pings though, are they?
Well, I've got 2 sets now. I've got a set of Pings. I'm going to have a set of TaylorMade. So, I'm just getting to that.
I've still got a
area
wooden
where like
freewood.
a hobby turns into an addiction, and I'm going down the other side too much. I've got to pull it back a little bit.
But wait, can you play golf by yourself?
Well,
Or is that
you can
not
pretty-
kosher?
No, you can't. You can play socially by yourself if you want to, but you can't play competition by yourself. You need someone when you play comp. Someone else has got to score your card.
There's definitely no competition in me for golf. It'll just be social.
Social's good, mate. Like particularly if you want to go down for a Friday arvo. As Reedy said, you don't need to play 18 holes to start. When you get in the hang of things, just go out there, play 9.
A couple of schooners.
Sit in the club after.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you'll make some friends down there. That's what the golf community's about, mate. Just making.
Oh,
some
I don't need to
friends.
make any more friends. I've got enough friends.
Yeah,
I don't
and
want, I
remember,
don't want any more.
The people
You need
in
your
golf
separate golfer
clubs
friends.
admire you if you kick the ball out from under a bush. Okay, so don't ever be worried about that kind of stuff.
Surely isn't your property big enough? Why don't you just make 3 holes on your property?
Well,
yourself?
I thought about that, but I've got cows and sheep and kids.
It's like a
Targets.
bunker.
Kids with
It's like
motorbikes.
It's like avoiding a bunker.
Well, no, I'm not worried about hitting them. They'll wreck my greens.
Oh, fair enough.
Gee, come on.
Well, sorry, yeah.
Absolutely
I
right.
couldn't give 2 hoots about hitting a kid with a golf ball
I was talking
or a
about the
cow or a
cows, not your
sheep. No,
kids.
any of them. They're right. I treat them all the same.
We'll just give you, if you go to our website, the number for Peter is there. For okay. Anything on? Anything on
I
the
can't
chat?
wait for the complaints. I can't wait.
I'll give out your
Yeah, there
mobile
was some
number
ch-
later.
there
Anything
were
in the
some
charge
charges,
sheet
Tony.
or injuries going on?
There were
What-
3 charges out of last night. Braden Trindle, Zach Docker-Clay and Kuli Fuiaki.
Zach Docker-Clay got penalised for not scoring that try.
Yeah. They were all just fine, so no big issues there.
Yep.
Injury-wise, I can't remember
Sifa
any
Talakai
significant
came
ones.
off with
He
a
did with
Cat 1 HIA,
Cat 1,
so
he'll miss next
Yeah.
week.
that's his second one this year. So
But
okay.
I couldn't help laugh at that one though because did he just hit the ground?
no, he hit him in the rump. I think.
he
Oh, he
got
did
his head
too.
on
Yeah.
the spot, yeah.
No, it was Sandon Smith that just
Yeah, Sandon Smith. But
hit his.
Oh, Sandon will miss a game too.
I think
obviously,
that
now.
the worry for Sifa is it's too
Yeah.
close together. I think it was maybe round 3 or 4 where he had one. So, listen, the performance staff at the Sharks will be safety first on that one. Make sure he's 100%. And fortunately, they've had to rotate a lot of their forwards this year, so there's plenty of guys to step up. Young Jesse Colquhoun, good to see him back from an extended layoff back in first grade, and yeah, he was fantastic last night.
The other game I forgot to mention, of course, was that the Roosters, James Tedesco really, 36, beat the Dolphins 26. He was brilliant. We'll get into him and that game and both games in more detail. Just let's go via the bunker, though. You said it's all going tickety-boo and was terrific, Reedy. There were a couple of things, though, that did get some people quite hot under the collar. One was the penalty when Bailey Bailey Simonson just appeared to be fallen on by Mulatalo over the try line, and it becomes a penalty. It wasn't a professional foul. He didn't get 10 in the bin, but it was no try, as we know, but a penalty. A lot of people blew up about it. In fact, our very own Aaron Woods was very loud. Let's have a listen to him.
They're going to say that Bailey Simonson tackled Ronnie Mulatalo.
The jersey, pulls him in a mid-air tackle, which is a penalty. We're ruling out the possibility of a penalty try.
How are you ruling out
the fact that Ronaldo has too much to do to get the ball to the ground?
I'm sorry.
That is what I call BS. He's over the try line and you're not calling it a penalty try, but you're calling it a penalty. This is where they've got no idea, the bunker. This is what's frustrating for fans sitting at home watching this game in the crowd.
But you can't have your cake and eat it. Mitchell Moses, absolutely perplexed. I'm with Mitchell. I don't know what.
These folks in the bunker have no idea what they're talking about. Last week it was head highs. This game they're becoming unwatchable at the moment. This is so frustrating.
Just what is Simonson supposed to do in this situation?
He's been reverse crushed. He's in a worse position than Ronaldo Mulatalo. And he's getting penalised for something that he cannot do. He is sitting on the ground. The bloke has landed on top of him. Where is he supposed to go?
Woodsy, not at all happy.
You know the issue with Woodsy, but
what?
His young bloke Buster, his favourite player is Ronald Mulatalo. So when he didn't score the try, he was more worried about consoling his young bloke who he brought up on a work trip on the Diamond Triple M, we might say.
Yeah.
And he's flowing up because he's had to console his young bloke. But I think
Did they get that wrong?
I think there was a definite action of Simonson to hook Ronnie's arm when it was in the air. And we've seen penalties like that before, tackle mid-air, when they've gone up to compete, but then you adjust in the air. Probably the decision that needs to be questioned is, well, once it's a penalty, he's over the try line. He
didn't score because he knocked on.
Is it a penalty try or is it a professional foul?
If you're penalised...
Yeah, you think it's a penalty try. Yeah.
Well, if they believe he's going to score. They said they thought he had too much still to do to score, which seems a bit odd.
Just put the ball down.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but then it's an act of foul play in the act of scoring a try. So it's a professional foul. So then he's in the bin anyway. It's either one or the other. I think because what was perplexing was if it's worth the penalty, well, it's in the act of scoring a try.
The other thing I would say on that is that, and the NRL has taken an initial look at this, Tony, and they're comfortable with the decision. They'll have another look on Monday when they review everything, but on their initial review of this incident, they're comfortable with the bunker got it right. Now, a lot of people would disagree with that. I understand that. I can see their rationale, right, because they're saying what Wade said, that in the process of contesting the ball, at some point, Bailey's motivation or was changed. So rather than contest the ball, he was trying to.
We've seen that penalised before too from other players. It is a rule that, and they've brought that up before. Like, of course, you go up to contest, but once you miss that contest, you can't then grab the guy in the air.
Which is instinct, though, isn't it? Because you've grown up tackling blokes and stopping people scoring tries.
Got that high in the air to worry about.
I can also understand why it wasn't a penalty try, because I don't think it was a deliberate act to try and stop the try. I think it just was the circumstances.
Yeah.
It changed in such a fleeting moment in midair. I think it's hard to say he went there with a predetermined mindset.
But he still did
but
what
I know
he did.
he did. But I'm saying I can understand why they didn't go down that path, because I think it's not like you're taking a bloke out and play. A bloke kicks through and you take him out, because that's a decision you make. I thought this was just bodies colliding in midair.
But the other one, Cherry Evans the other week got bumped off the ball, and I didn't even think that was deserving of a penalty. Like they made a break, he kicked through, the ball bounced the opposite direction. They're both going for the ball. They bumped into each other.
You're allowed to body check.
Well, obviously they weren't, because he got a penalty for it.
I agree. I missed that incident, but you are allowed to shoulder for the ball.
Yeah.
But again, I get Woodsy's frustration, but for me, the scale of that and that decision, whether it was right or wrong, it's on the smaller side of things. It's just a carryover of frustration from last week.
Yeah,
that's where it's come from. It's building up. It's building up. We want everything to be perfect, but because of the cumulative effect, the frustrations keep coming out. But I think we just got to hold our guns, be cool, and
apart from that, the refereeing so far this weekend's been much better.
I mean, the concern with the bunker was the high shots. That's been the big issue all week, and I think they got that right. Well, we didn't see many in the game. They penalised. I can't remember who it was. Got penalised for it was Katonga. Got penalised for a high shot that clearly wasn't a high shot. That wasn't a bunker decision. But the bunker in terms of interfering in play for high shots, we didn't see that at all last night, which I think's a positive move.
Yeah, that's right. And they were doing what everybody wants them to do, is rule on tries. And the other one, I guess people were a little bit not so much confused, maybe disappointed, was the best no try of the season. Went through about 12 sets of hands for the Roosters before Zach Docker-Clay seemingly put it down. It was, and look, this is for mine, the sense of occasion rule. If you go through, it looks like that, just award the try.
Just
give it, honestly. Sense of occasion.
It was a good lead up to that, but it took them so many angles or so many camera shots to find that last piece of vision, which I thought showed that he got the ball down. So I was leaning towards try for that.
Did the referee sending up it as try or no try?
Oh shit! Now you put me on the spot.
I thought
they went up. I thought he went up try.
Up as try. Charlie's giving it up as try. It's just, those ones, because of that, the referee's instinct to send it up, a try or no try, has such an effect on the bunker. I think they should do that when they know, or they have an indication. But on the occasions where they don't know, they should just go, I have no idea on this one.
No, he definitely blew the whistle as a try because there was much celebration there.
The time it took, so the referees awarded the try. The referee was on the spot. Why did we have to go and see so much more vision and then look for something to bring it back and then go to the bunker? I don't, because it was given a try. And I think a lot of people at home would have gone, if we didn't see so many replays, that was a try all day. I don't get that. I just think, well, the ref's called a try, let's move on and kick the goal.
All right, well, if Woodsy was very, very angry, there has, as you mentioned, Reed, there's been so much talk about the bunker and what it should and shouldn't be doing and how successful and unsuccessful it's been. Buzz, Phil Rothfield, has been very outspoken about it. And he seems to indicate there may be something in the wind. Have a listen to this.
The NRL are going to take steps at the end of the season. They're not going to put a bomb under the bunker, but what they are going to do is hire 3 or 4 full-time specialists. They won't be current referees. They'll be bunker specialists to do nothing but adjudicate on games from Everleigh, the studios there, high-definition screens, slow-mo the lot to try and improve what we've seen this year. What sort of person will be in there? They'll be ex-referees.
I see the name Matt Chechen, for example, has been thrown around as well. Reedy, what do you think of this?
I think it's a good idea to have less people in the bunker, but it's not going to solve all the problems because, as I've always said, Tone, the issue isn't the technology. The issue is the people, and people make mistakes. Right? People are inconsistent, so it doesn't matter if you've got 4 people in there or 10 people in there. You're occasionally going to get mistakes made by the bunker official. And it doesn't matter if they're former referees.
Why do we need one? Why do we need a bunker then?
We've got current referees in there now who get it wrong. So why would a former referee not get it wrong?
So why can't we just leave it up to the referee to get it wrong on the field at the time? Well, if we're still getting it wrong in the bunker.
The technology gets more right than wrong, though, Hindy. And I think that's...
But they're still getting it wrong, though, with the technology.
But people expect it to be perfect. They're never going to get 100% right. It's impossible.
I understand that. That's why I think, why do we need it then? Because the referee doesn't always get it right either.
Because the bunker gets more right than wrong. And I think that's the thing. It increases maybe your percentage of wrong decisions.
What's the percentage?
Goes down
percentages?
Goes down from 15 to 5%, right? You get 95% right rather than 80% right. That's better, isn't it? Don't you think?
Yeah, it's by 5%.
Yeah.
For me, I like the idea of having the same people doing the same decision making in the bunker in terms of just interpretation. At least you know they're going to interpretate the obstruction rule the same, or they're going to interpretate different things the same. When we have multiple people coming in and out of the door, just going on their own understanding of the rules, that's where the inconsistency comes from. Not so much from. It's just sometimes it's from game to game. You see an obstruction in one game, the very next game something comes on. It's not an obstruction. It's the same sort of play. That's what the frustration comes with me. I think if we have the same people in the bunker as much as possible, the interpretations will be more
They'll
consistent.
make the same mistakes from week to week.
Yeah,
They'll be consistent.
Yeah.
But I mean, the idea was always to have less people in the bunker, to use less people in the bunker. Peter V'landys made that pretty clear. So I just think my concern with it is, Tone, that we think that this is going to solve the problem, and you've got to understand this problem can never be solved
because it's a human problem.
Because it's a human problem.
Yep.
It's not a technology issue.
Yep.
So people will need to accept that, but we can reduce the amount of mistakes, and hopefully that does that.
Yeah.
If we do AI,
I was thinking
AI in the bunker,
It'll happen eventually. It'll happen.
Then it's not a human issue, is it?
Yeah.
It's a robot issue.
Robot issue.
Yeah, we can blame a robot.
Absolutely. Right, it's that moment that everybody who's attending Magic Round or wherever they are around the country and listening to us, is what they've been looking forward to.
Reedy's Mail.
Yes, he didn't shuffle into his hotel room till about 4 o'clock this morning, maybe 5 o'clock this morning.
Hotel X.
Hotel X. He arrived at.
Hopefully my wife's not listening. But
Yeah, he's looking particularly
Oh, we
seedy.
text her. We text in.
Yeah, is that a purple shirt you're wearing?
yeah, it's purple. Yeah, purple. Yeah, I think it's purple. Yeah,
I like it.
it's one of those non-iron ones, Tones. You don't have to iron it, so that's why I bought it.
Right,
Anyway,
okay.
that's.
Let's get into, what about Josh Schuster, a name that we're hoping will get back in a top 13 at some point. What's happening?
Yeah, well, he was named on the extended bench this week. Obviously, got a lot of injuries around the halves, South Sydney. But I spoke to Wayne actually about him this week. And look, they're going to take a patient approach with Josh. He's obviously had a check-in time over the past 18 months. He's been playing New South Wales the past couple of weeks. And they've been encouraged by how he's playing. But they just want him to play a bit more football before he comes back to the NRL. I mean, he's a real handy sort of joker they've got up their sleeve for later in the season. But he just needs to play footy. And I think Wayne obviously loves the potential and the ability and the skill he's got. And we've seen flashes of that in the past. But they just realise that given what he's been through, there's no need to rush this guy, take their time, let him play some footy, get his confidence back. And I'm sure he'll play first grade again at some point this season, particularly, as I said, with the injuries they've got around the halves. But he just needs to play more football. So, but Wayne was really encouraged by what he's seen out of him, which is a positive sign for Josh Schuster moving forward, because I think everyone wants to see Josh Schuster back at his best, because he's a different footballer.
Well, as long as he realises the opportunity he has to be able to give him this chance again, it's all fine and well to say, yeah, he's a good footballer, but once you get there, you got to remain there, you got to stay there, you got to stay driven, you got to stay hungry. And his big stint at Manly when he got the big pay packet, we saw what? We saw one good game. Yeah. So hopefully, the second time around, he's going to realise, hang on a sec, this is what I want to do. This is how I should go about doing it.
Well, I think that's the issue, or it has been an issue in the past. We know how good at football he is and the skill that he has, but it's the decision making around that and the things you got to live up to and the decisions you need to make in your life. And only Josh can make those decisions. No one can make them for him. He's the one. He's the one doing it, and it's his life. And it is, for some people, it is the hardest part of the profession. He's getting everything in order off the field.
Yeah.
Particularly around your diet, what you're eating, what you're putting into your body to try and bring the best.
Sometimes, family and friends as well. They can have a fair influence on what you're doing outside of the game. So, well, hopefully he gets it right this time.
I think Wayne's the right guy for him. It's interesting, right? Wayne's, I think he's 75 now, Wayne. So you wouldn't have thought he'd have a great repartee with a kid like Josh Schuster, but he's a sort of guy, I think, Josh, you could see Wayne getting the best out of. It's interesting. I mentioned this time, we weren't going to talk about this, but I just thought about this because we did something this week on it. Wayne's 75, his deal's till the end of 27 at South, and PNG are quite keen, or the ARL Commission's quite keen to get him to coach PNG. But South, as I understand it, want to sit down with Wayne at some point in the off-season and extend his deal potentially for another 3 years. That gives rise to the potential that Wayne Bennett could be coaching the NRL at 80 years old, which is amazing, right? But it just shows you what a unique ability he has to bridge that age gap with young players, guys are basically almost third of his age. And Josh is one of those guys.
Has he bridged the tooth gap? Was he without tooth when you spoke to him?
He didn't have the tooth when I spoke to him, yeah.
Because he says he's going to do Magic Round without the tooth because he's then get it fixed properly.
He did on licorice, black licorice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Licorice bullet.
Just snapped it off.
Oh, I like licorice bullets.
Yeah.
I like the raspberry white
Do you?
chocolate ones.
I hate licorice. Never liked it. Anyway, we digress. That wasn't male.
What was it, Mark?
Ready's mail.
What about player agents? Well, it can
Yeah.
be player agents and coach agents. There's so much talk about contracts that's been going on, not just the last little while, but forever. What's the latest?
Well, the NRL want to do a review this year of the agents, and part of that review will be whether agents should be able to manage coaches and players. I mean, this has been a divisive issue for a long time in the game because people fear that agents take control of clubs. So I have a different view on this, Tone. I'll throw you my view.
Yep.
My view is that it shouldn't be up to the NRL to control a club's ability to dictate to agents. Clubs have got to be strong enough. If clubs allow themselves to be overtaken by agents, that's their own fault, right? It's a simple way to not let it happen. That's to say no. And I look at a guy like Craig Fitzgibbon, right? I think I'm pretty sure he's managed by Dave Riolo, has been his whole life, his whole career, right? So from when he was a player at the age of 17, 18 to now when he's a coach, why should Fitzy, who's got a relationship with a guy that stretches 30 years, 20 years, and trusts him implicitly, why should he be forced to give up that guy as his agent? I don't think it's fair. I don't think the NRL should do it. I think it's up to clubs to not regulate the agents, but it's up to clubs to be strong enough to say no to agents.
That's 100% right, Reddy. Because at the moment, you get your managers who have got a lot of players within one club, and the player manager will threaten to move a player on if so-and-so doesn't get signed. So all that sort of stuff happens. But yeah, you're right. It's the clubs that shit themselves.
Yeah,
they're the ones that can only change it. So yeah, we know what, move him on. I'm not going to pay another $400,000 of this player if you move it. We don't care. The club should not be held to ransom about who and what they sign because they're run by, majority of the sides run by the same manager.
The strong clubs don't get dictated to by agents. Penrith, Melbourne, the Roosters, the Broncos, they don't let the agents dictate to them, right? So it's up to other clubs to follow that lead. It shouldn't be up to the NRL to, for example, force a guy like Craig. I'm just using Craig as an example with Dave Riolo because I know they've got a long-standing relationship. It shouldn't be up to the NRL. The NRL shouldn't make Fitzy or Dave make a choice. Right?
Is that what they're asking there, Rito?
Well, that's what potentially could happen. I mean, it could be that Dave Riolo, the NRL says you can't manage coaches and players, and Dave Riolo's got to go, well, I've either got to cut loose Craig Fitzgibbon or I've got to cut loose young players or players that I've got under my
but what about, so there's a lot of management companies have a lot of managers within that one company.
I don't think that. I think the idea would be you can't
cut from the company.
The company, yeah. You couldn't do it as just an agent because.
So there would have to be a company that is specifically an agent to coaches.
Yes, I would. That's what
where do we
yeah,
start?
Yeah, we're in.
We need an agent certificate then. Quick.
Accreditation, I think it's called.
Certificate, accreditation, sunshine tape.
Anyway, that's just my view on it, Tone.
I like it, really.
Mate, we're agreed a lot today, Wayne.
I like it, mate. No, I think you're right. Like you said, the strong clubs don't get dictated to by other people. They have a vision of where their program's going. They try and recruit players that fit that vision, and if they don't, well, they don't go after them, and they're not being told how to run their business from an external source. They're running it themselves with an understanding of what they're trying to achieve. And if clubs want to get dictated to and mess up their books and have outside sources control their program, well, that's their own fault, and it's up to them to clean house.
Reedy, as always, the Brent Read weekend read. It's the first thing I have a look at on a Saturday morning. Now, you've a couple of things here. There's two bits I want to get to you. I'm quoting you. It's easy to forget that Brisbane's Premiership drought is coming up to 20 years. The last of their 6 titles was in 2006. While they've gone close since, they've never quite finished the job. When you consider the resources at their disposal, it is a disgrace. Strong words.
Too strong?
I don't know. I'm just saying they are strong words.
So the NRL did had a CEO's meeting on Friday, and they do a thing where they benchmark all the clubs, their revenue, their spending, and the Broncos at the top of every list, right? They outstrip every club in the game in terms of resources, in terms of finance, in terms of money. To think that club hasn't won a comp in 20 years, I find outrageous. And they've just, I know they've gone close. They probably should have beaten the Cowboys a few years back. They should have beaten Penrith, actually, 2 years ago when they were home with 15 minutes to go. But it's just, I find it unfathomable that they could not have won a comp in that long with the resources they've got at their disposal. It's crazy.
But I think they're not the big diamond they used to be, you know what I mean? Like players now or kids now will just go, you know, back in the day they would, that was their thing, they'd die to play for the Broncos. I don't think that exists anymore. It's definitely more of a business. Kids from grown up in Brisbane area, they're happy to go to Melbourne and play down there. They're happy to go to the Parramatta Eels and play there. They're not, no one cares about, well, I'm not going to say no one cares. Yeah. Cares is the wrong word, probably. But no, they understand that they need to get a start wherever they can. They're not going to just hold out for the Broncos. So probably the talent pool they used to have and used to attract, they don't do it anymore because it's more of a business now than more of a pull on the heartstrings sort of thing.
Did you get a reaction from the Broncos at all?
I got a message from someone there.
Yeah,
I think
in what terms? Just give us a little bit more than that.
Agreed with me. They sent me a photo of those lines and said, "Really, a disgrace."
Well, it's certainly, but
and I said, "Yeah."
If you're sitting in that meeting as a Broncos CEO or even any part of that franchise, and you look at the money you spend on your football program, the resources you have at your disposal, every KPI up there, and you're number one in all the KPIs, and then you look at our actual football program and go, we haven't won a comp in 20 years. Well, you're missing some ingredient there. So they got to be honest about it as well and go, we're missing the mark in a few areas because we're obviously overachieving in a lot of areas compared to other clubs. And we're not getting the same production out there on the field. So they probably have underachieved. I agree there's probably factors like Hindy. You look at even a few years ago, the likes of David Fafita and that group of youngsters walking out of the club. Ben Hunt's been playing in Sydney for years. That wouldn't have happened in the late 90s or 2000s. You had the loyalty of the Broncos. Blokes would stay for unders to keep playing at the Broncos because of the club that it was. But I think that's a little bit less of a pull now on the youngsters, and you know they just got to keep trucking ahead and trying to win because it's hard to win in this competition. That's why everyone's so impressed of what Penrith's been able to do. The 4 in a row they've been able to build. It's incredible because it's hard to win 1, let alone 4.
Reedy, 1986. 1986.
Mind you, Power's got some resources at their disposal as well, actually. You're right.
I'll leave you at that one. 1986. Mate.
Exactly. Anyway, I'm loving your chutzpah, Reedy, when you do this kind of stuff. The other thing on your page is, I'll just read the headline. You obviously don't write the headlines, but the clock is ticking for Des to deliver at the Titans, talking about Desi Hasler.
Well, he's got to be under pressure. Last year was bang average. They've been very ordinary this year. I mean, they've been terrible, to be honest. And you know, they brought in Des, he's 2-time premiership winner, long time regarded as one of the best coaches in the game. Obviously didn't leave Manly on the best of terms. And I think they thought, well, I've got no doubt they thought things would go better than they are. And I think Des is, well, we all love Des, right? He's a character. But I think some of the stuff he does is just old school. And it doesn't cut it anymore. Well, the rubbish he pulls in press conferences, and I know that doesn't impact the way they play. He's been doing the same stuff for 20 years, man. It's run its course.
He pulled a swift one this week. Did you hear about that one? He changed his press conference. It was meant to be after the team announcement, so he moves the time of his press conference before the team announcement. So he does his presser. Team's released. He's obviously dropped David Fafita, so no one can get a question to him about David Fafita. That was just a wily old veteran move.
And he bamboozled them all by telling, asked me about the NRL and the bunker. So that's what the press conference was largely about. It wasn't about how crap they've been on the field. But I think most people, see through that stuff now. You know, I don't know. I hate to say this about Des, right? But I feel like the game's passed him by a little bit. And maybe that's disrespectful and I don't mean it to be, but that's just the sense I get.
So interesting, in the same section as we're talking about a man who you say is going to coach till he's 80.
Yeah.
But you think the game has passed Des by.
Well, that's what it looks like at the moment. That's what it feels like.